The CPETS, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for coming. And as always, thank you most of all for being Rotarians. This morning, I have the great honor to introduce you to our incoming president for next year of Rotary International, Shekhar Mehta from West Bengal, India. I want to tell you a few important things about Shekhar, and then let him get right to his speech. He pioneered a program, Healing Little Hearts, that has performed more than 1,500 life-saving and life-changing surgeries across South Asia. He is also the architect of the TEACH program, which promotes literacy throughout India and has reached thousands of schools and involved more than 3,000 clubs. Mehta has received Rotary's Service Above Self Award, the Rotary Foundation Citation for Meritorious Service, and the Distinguished Service Award. He and his wife, Rashi, are major donors and members of the Bequest Society and have two beautiful adult children, and Rotary is, in fact, a family adventure. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to Shekhar, and one more point. He loves pizza, and that my Napolitana grandmother and mother love you for. Without further ado, Shekhar Mehta.
Hello, everyone, and a very good morning to each and every one of you from a warm evening in Kolkata, India. It's absolutely a privilege to be with all of you, but I neither can see you nor feel you, touch you, give you a handshake or a warm hug, as I would have loved to do had I been at your in-person pets. But that's what the current world is. Excuse me. But Rotarians know how to make the best of what we get. And I'm very happy. There are nearly 213 people apart from me, and which is wonderful. And if there is a group of people I love talking to, of course, apart from the DGEs, I cannot miss them. It is the presidents-elect that I love to speak to, because whatever I say to anyone, if there is going to be an impact, it is going to be by each and every one of you, because it is you who do the work of Rotary along with your club members. So, my dear change maker governors elect, Hugh, Geeta, Debbie, and Pat, and along with you, each and every change maker president. The coming year is going to be one of the most important years of your life. Presidents, 30 years back, I experienced the same along with my wife, Rashi. And it still remains as one of the best years we've had in our life. It was a year where we could not only do great hands-on service ourselves, but inspire our friends, having a great time with each other, and yet serving people to change lives. Yes, the theme may be new, but that's what we've been doing all the while. Serving to change lives. Hi, Geeta, now I can see you. So, friends, this 1 year and the preparatory time before that, I would ask each and every one of you to grow more, to do more. Grow more as in increasing our membership. When I was the district governor 20 years back, the membership of Rotary was at 1.2 million. 10 years later, I got elevated to be the director of Rotary. The membership was still at 1.2 million. 10 years from then, when I got nominated to be the president of Rotary, the membership still remains at 1.2 million. Not good. We didn't increase for 20 years. Let's change that. And if there is a group of people who can change, it is these people who are on this Zoom webinar. For membership is every individual Rotarian's responsibility. It's not just the district governor's responsibility to ensure so many members come into Rotary. No, each and every one of us just needs to bring one member to Rotary and our job will be done, I promise you. You promised me one person before 30th June 2022, and I promise you 1.3 million Rotarians in Rotary. What we may not have seen in 17 years, we may see happening in 17 months. But you may say that's crazy. No, it isn't. The polio vaccine took 28 years to make. The Ebola vaccine took 4 years to make. The COVID vaccine has only taken 9 months to make, and it is as effective, let me tell you. What could not be done earlier? It's not necessarily it cannot be done now. About 40 years back, I first time saw a computer in my city. I had to go to the university to see what a computer looked like. Mainframe computers, the length 40 feet. Nowadays, it is 4 inches. That's what could be the size of your cell phone, and that's your computer. So it is possible. And all I ask you, urge you, cajole you to do is each one bring one. Not a tough task. Had I been able to see you, I would have asked each and every one of you to just raise your hand. And I tell you, I've done this to 25,000 Rotarians across the world. Every part of the world, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, Thailand, Japan, Korea, India, Africa, South America, US, UK, Europe, every country where the membership of Rotary has been falling, the response has been 95% of the people said, yes, I will get just one Rotarian. Friends, if we do it, we'll make history, and you will be the change maker presidents to change the membership pattern of our organization. You'll change the direction. Right now, the direction is this for the membership. You'll suddenly change the direction to this. Let's do it. But as we get these members, let's focus a little more on younger members and female members. After all, a Rotary Club is supposed to be the reflection of the community that we live in. In our community, the gender balance is nearly equal. But at membership in Rotary, the gender balance unfortunately isn't equal, but we need to make it equal. So friends, I urge you, let's get younger members. Let's get Rotaractors. Let's get more female members. And every member that we bring, we will keep them engaged and ensure that they stay in our clubs. So it will be each one bring one and retain all. Retention is going to be as important, if not a little more important than even bringing in back. So let's all work towards it. Let's engage people. And you know this, if there is one thing that the pandemic has shown us, how to engage. So what if I could not come and meet you there in person? I did not have to just send you a videotape. I'm here speaking to each and every one of you, but for these virtual world, the virtual calls, this would not have been possible. But for the pandemic, I don't think we would have used the virtual world just the way we are doing today. My own club, at a regular weekly meeting, they got a whopping 2,400 people to attend. 1,000 on the Zoom call and 1,400 on, was it YouTube or Facebook? I don't remember. But that's because we got an outstanding speaker, someone who people would pay thousands of rupees, Indian or quite many dollars just to listen to that person. Here, he was sitting at his home making the speech and people were loving to listen to him. Another time we got the governor of our state to come and speak to us. Again, we had nearly 700 people. So this is something that we can all do. If there are clubs who are not meeting online, my request is, presidents-elect, please ensure that your club definitely meets over the next 4 months. They keep meeting online if they cannot meet in person. It's extremely important. Or else we're going to lose many members because there will be no engagement for these people who can neither shake hands with friends or nor can they meet them or see them on a virtual call. Let's not lose out on them. And the third thing that we can do as far as Grow Rotary is concerned is form new clubs. And that's more for you, Pat, Geeta, Debbie, and Hugh. You could think in terms of starting new clubs. I will bet on virtual clubs. That's going to be the future of Rotary. Virtual clubs, hybrid clubs. I want to go back to my own club and ask them to become a hybrid club. 2 meetings in person, 2 meetings virtual. Or maybe every meeting in person as well as virtual. The second one will take a little bit of technology, but I'm sure by now we all become experts at Zoom calls or any other platform that you may wish to use. And then there are the passport clubs, satellite clubs, cause-based clubs. Just a little while back, one of the clubs that was started in my district has 124 members to start with. And it's a virtual club. In-person club, I've never heard of 124 people starting a club. But virtual one, it's possible because the world is your community now. How about cause-based clubs? These are excellent ideas. Cause-based clubs, flexibility that has been provided by Rotary, I think is excellent. People who are interested in WASH, let's say, they come together from different parts of the world, they come virtually and they form a club. And then they do excellent projects, sometimes in one country, sometimes in another country, and sometimes in a country where none of these members are members from. So let's do all of this, and friends, I promise you, we will be able to grow more. But when we grow more, we'll be able to do more. And to me, that's the essence of Rotary. Doing more as a service above self or serving people to change their lives. I joined Rotary when I was only 25 years old. And service was the last thing on my mind at that time. I joined to make friends. I didn't even know what it meant to change anybody's life till my Rotary Club took me 50 kilometers away from my city and showed me what that other world was. I couldn't believe what I saw. There were no toilets in their homes. They lived in mud houses, thatched roofs. This is about 30 plus years back. There was no clean drinking water for them. The schools, the schools were under a tree, and probably the only black charcoal painted wall was the only blackboard the children had ever seen. And then I realized half this world is a world which has, and there is half the world which it does not have or has less. It's for us as Rotarians to ensure that there is a better equilibrium, that we take from where there is plenty and we try and shift it to places where there isn't. So when you sink bore wells in an African country, African village, and then when the water gushes out of those bore wells on the parched land, I tell you, show it to your members on a Zoom call. Have a Zoom call with that club in Africa. Your members will have goosebumps when they see the joy on the faces and they see how sitting halfway across the world, they've been able to serve and change lives. If you wanted to do a project where heart surgeries, life-saving heart surgeries are done for children from Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, next time, don't just write a check, don't just give DDF, ask them also when you're doing the project that they present 10 or 15 of these children at the next meeting. Speak to them. Maybe they'll not know English, but there'll be a Rotarian who will translate it. And you will listen how happy they are. Those children who couldn't even take a few steps are now running around happily only because you cared to mend their hearts. Friends, the world has now become a village. And because of this virtual world, it has become even smaller. Let's do our work across the world. And next year, we'll remember that the overarching theme for all that we do is going to be empowering girls. Why girls? Why not boys? That's because The moment I say Geeta says this, and I'm sure so many others you do. That's because even in today's time, days and time, there isn't a place where girls are not either discriminated against or they are not disadvantaged. So it's important that we remove this discrimination. We try to reduce the disadvantage that they are at. So we'll do projects and programs for all, but the focus will be a little more on the empowering the girl. So you may do projects which are for menstrual health management, maybe for the girls. Maybe you'll ensure that the girls do not drop out of schools in certain parts of the world. Again, if you may wish to provide scholarships, how about a focus more on the girl when you're providing the scholarships? When you go to schools in the Wash in Schools Wins program, how about ensuring that when you are creating those toilets, they are adequate gender based toilets, that everyone has adequate toilets? There are many things that you can do. It depends on what is the need in your community. And if the need in your community is not there, Hugh or Pat, Geeta or Debbie, how about doing it in other parts of the world? As I said, there are parts of the world where there are still no toilets in their homes. They may still be having just one single toilet in their schools. They may not be having libraries there. There is so much that we can do. So let's keep doing that. And to help tell our story to the rest of the world, we've created two presidential emphasis. One is the presidential conferences. These are going to be 7 conferences across the world. Attend as many of these as you can, but definitely the one which is back near your home, which is going to be at Houston just before the convention, adjunct to the convention. And that one will be on peace, because that's the culmination of all the 6 other other presidential conferences. And I'm a strong believer, whatever we do for WASH or education or empowering people or health, we bring positive peace in this world. So all our efforts across the world should culminate into peace, positive peace. And then, but these conferences, not everyone will be able to attend. So there's another thing that's been created, and that is the Rotary Days of Service. You'll find ample opportunities in your areas to start programs and projects where you can showcase the work that is being done by your club along with another club or a Rotary club or a Rotary club, and showcase it to the world. Get people who are not Rotarians. You know, we Rotarians are great at telling our story, but we tell that story to ourselves. We are not so good at telling our story to the outside world. Let's start doing that. We do a great job. Very few people do things as we do. Show me another organization which has worked for 35 years for one single cause and has been as successful as saving 19 million children from either becoming paralyzed or losing their lives. Polio eradication, we are this close to it, nearly at the edge of eradicating a disease. Only once before in mankind history have we done that. So there is a lot that we can do. Presidents, seize the day. Carpe diem. It is your time. The next 17 months, make them count. Make them the most important days of your life, because these 17 months, I request you to live for your family. The world is your family. Live for them, especially for people in your family who are a little disadvantaged, and your serving them will change their lives. Let me end with what I had spoken at the International Assembly at my theme speech, and it's about the theme I've spent it. The biggest gift we are given is the power to touch a life, to change, to make a difference in the circle of life. If we can reach out with our hand, heart, and soul, the magic will begin to happen as the wheel begins to roll. Let's turn the wheel together so all humanity thrives. We have the power and the magic to serve, to change lives. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And by the way, it's so sad you can't see the enthusiasm. You are getting terrific raves in the chat columns and a lot of support. We're going to start our questioning with Hugh from 7630. Hugh, why don't you ask your question of Shekhar?
Sure. Well, Shekhar, every time I get the opportunity to hear you, I am motivated even more in my role as an incoming district governor. But today we're talking to our incoming president-elects, who are really the people with the feet on the ground. I'd like you, I know we need to emphasize each one bring one, but I'd like you to share a minute or so about one project that you started in your club and the impact that it has had because you started there and let it grow.
How many do you want?
Now,
This is what I've done in my life. This is what I've done in my life. So let me tell you something which is very close to my heart, and that's those heart surgeries. Okay. I started this about 15 years back. I was asked by someone that, would you like to start this Gift of Life program? I have no clue about heart surgeries. I'm weak at biology. I don't understand much of it. So what's a left ventricle? What's the valve? And by the time I could understand, there was a wait list of children. And unfortunately, one of those children died in another state, not in my state. That shook me absolutely. I realized that just because I did not have knowledge, I didn't start early enough. It was just 1 month delay. But I said, okay, now I'll make it a mission that I will ensure every child that comes across me with a heart disease will get the surgeries done. And starting that month or next month, each day that I went to my office, there wasn't a single day where I did not find at least 1, 2, or 3 children waiting with their parents for me to come and talk to them about their heart surgery. Even before I started my work at my office, I would first meet them, talk to them. And you know what I found out of about 2,500 of such parents who came, not one of them earned enough that if they accumulated all they earned for 3 years, only then would they be able to do the heart surgery for the child. But the child may not survive for 3 years. So here comes Rotary, and look at the joy on their eyes, on their faces. I mean, imagine 9 months the parents wait for their bundle of joy to come, and very soon they find the baby turning blue because it has a hole in the heart. It pierces a hole in their hearts too. Forget about the hole in their pockets. And Rotary comes, serves, and changes lives. I've been blessed that I could be able to do this for 2,500 through me directly involved, and 20,000 across India when it became an India-wide program over a period of 4 years' time. And now, Hugh, I'm happy to tell you, the plans for the next 5 years is 20,000 more. And just about 10 days back, somebody came and met me. He said, I love this program. Each year, I will add 3,000 heart surgeries to the program that you are doing. So now instead of 20,000, it's going to become 35,000 heart surgeries from across the world. So we are now getting children from Afghanistan. My own club did surgery for 3 Afghan children last month, 8 months, 10 months, and 3 years old. Lovely kids. And they come from a ravaged country. They come here for heart surgeries. Another child came from Nigeria because I'd gone to a Zoom call and said, okay, you want to send any child, anytime, we'll do the heart surgery. And that first child was the Nigerian child. More are going to keep coming. Long answer for a short question.
Well, thank you very much. And now, thank you, Hugh. And Geetha from 7620.
Yes, I will echo what Hugh says. Whenever I hear you, I want to do more. But here's my question to you. you know, Rotary is a huge organization in India and has grown tremendously. The people in the audience don't really understand why is Rotary so successful in India, and what does it bring to the people there that it's growing so much? What are the special attributes of Rotary in India? Could you share that with them?
The answer is they love to serve and see the lives change. Fact is this: there is tremendous need in this part of the world. The government is doing a great job, let me tell you, but the country is so big, the population is so huge that the government alone cannot do, whether it's education, whether it's health, whether it's disaster management or anything. And the Rotarians here, fortunately, are a little enterprising. They are ready to not only do global grants. Global grants form only 8 to 10% of the work that we do. And we do at least 20 million valued work each year only through global grants. India happens to be the #1 country as far as receiving is concerned. And as far as giving to Rotary Foundation, it's the #2 country just after the US. And mind you, $1 is equal to 75 times the rupee.
I know.
So we don't do a bad job giving, but it's very important that they are able to do these projects. If they find there is a need, they're ready to go and help. So I was emphasizing, next time when you do a project in your club or any club in your district, encourage clubs to see those projects. Now it's possible on the virtual world. So whether it's in Nepal, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in South America, seeing is believing, and seeing is giving goosebumps to yourself.
Thank you, Shekhar.
Thank you, Geetha. And we will now hear from Debbie, 7600.
Thank you, Pat. So, Shekhar, thank you for being our inspiration and our leader. We look forward to a wonderful next 16 months as we move into serving as our DG for our district. A question going back to your discussion about your heart surgeries. Coming from our district, will you be training more heart surgeons so that children don't have to travel so far on project to have heart surgery?
So I just saw Stephen putting this in the chat.
Yep.
I've noted this already, and now it's on my radar. I would want a VTT to be done in maybe African countries where they need these surgeries, so they don't have to send these children. But let me also tell you, it's not very difficult. I told the countries there in Africa, if you have to send the children, do not pay for their airfare. Let's say the Nigerian child, the Nigerian airline, it's their social responsibility to fly these children free of cost on a day when you have 10 seats vacant. Provide 3 of them, 1 child and 2 parents, to come and take them back. But I totally agree. We will do a VTT so that we can have heart surgeons going from here to another country and maybe training them.
Thank you, Shekhar.
Okay. Well, another question that we have, thank you very much, Debbie, is my club, and this is from the chat room, is an older membership club. And how do we begin reaching out to younger members? How do you make that bridge? What do you suggest?
So I suggest get 6 or 7 or 8 to 10 of the young people together. How about starting a satellite club with the young people? You know, a satellite club where these younger people are meeting, maybe initially separately from the elderly, and slowly over a period of time, because of the interaction between each other, they may be able to come into the main club and become one club together.
Okay. All right. So that's another way that you can use satellite clubs to move your club forward. Hugh, it's your turn once again from 7630.
Well, thank you, Pat. Shekhar, we have seen the impact of Rotary because of our opportunities through the zone and through the International Assembly. But could you share just a little bit about some of the impact that Rotary has had on the pandemic and where the foundation has turned its head a little bit to solve some of the issues that we're facing?
Absolutely, Hugh. A very relevant question. And let me tell you, the response of the Rotarians around the world for the pandemic has been twofold. The first, when the pandemic had started and we needed to help, Rotarians did an amazing job. From across the world, you could see various pictures, reports of people doing their things coming across. In India, we gave away, just in a period of 1.5 months, we contributed $15 million to the Prime Minister's fund for COVID issues and put in another $20 million on projects on the ground. Now that's, mind you, that's just one country doing this. And different countries, I have data from India because I am from there and I was sitting at home at that time. I could collect the data from all the governors. But I'm aware, I've seen pictures, I've seen discussions happening, reports during those periods. We've given PPE kits across the world. We've given masks. That's the time when needed. Today, everybody has 5 masks, 6 masks probably. But at that time, nobody had. PPE kits were not so easily available. We've given hundreds and hundreds of ventilators across the world, thousands of ventilators. Yeah, that's good. So, we did everything that was need-based at that time. I'm aware of hospitals being provided by doctors that you convert for the government to convert them into COVID hospitals. Post that, now that the vaccination process is starting, the board has taken a decision and made a task force at the highest level where the president, president-elect, president nominee, and the chair, chair-elect, and chair nominee of the Rotary Foundation, 6 people task force whose responsibility it is to ensure, to spread the word across the world that every Rotarian, please find the opportunity working with your local government to find what is it that you can do if at all there is a need to do. The needs will be different in different parts of the world. Maybe in the US, the system is so organized that you may not have much need. In India, the system has been outstanding. Not only are we vaccinating our people well, we've given vaccines to 20 different countries across the world. But there are countries in Africa where there may be need for people to participate in ensuring an equitable distribution and a fast distribution. At times, once the initial rush for getting the vaccine is over, there may be hesitancy. You and I, we all can work removing that hesitancy. So if you are getting a vaccine, take a shot, post it in your entire district. So every Rotarian feels, if you can take it, maybe I too can take it.
Thank you very much. And again, Hugh, thank you. Geetha from 7620.
So Shekhar, I want you to know that we did precisely what you said. We volunteered as Rotarians to help with the vaccination process here in my county, where we have 7 Rotary clubs. And it's amazing how many Rotarians have gone there personally to help with the process. So now a TV anchor woman said to me, what is it with you Rotarians? You always show up to help. So I'm going to contact her and do exactly what you said, which is advertise the work of Rotary. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted you to know that before you launched your target points about your presidency, that having traveled and worked in India and other low and middle income countries, I understand where you come from, where girls are not given the opportunities that they need. So I promise you, I will work on doubling the number of women members in my district.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, well, thank you, Geetha. Debbie from 7600. And by the way, there was a lot of applause for that.
Thank you, Pat. Shekhar, you had mentioned to us during our International Assembly about with the each one bring one goal and the challenge, that there was going to be a program from RI to recognize those members who accepted that challenge. Can you expand on that for our PEs?
Sure. That's very important. Somehow I missed this at every speech that I'm giving, but good you remind me, I won't miss it the next time. I've always felt you give $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation, in a few days' time, you'll get a pin in the post. You wear a pin, a Paul Harris fellow pin. You give another $1,000, they suddenly send you another pin with a sapphire on it. Till you've given $5,000, they'll send you one with a ruby. And you give 10,000, they'll send you one with a diamond. And you bring 10 members and you aren't getting anything. Not that you give for getting or you bring members for getting, but both the efforts are equal. But left to me, I would say the effort for getting member is even more important, because 10 members can definitely become one of them, or even more of them can become a major donor. Given a choice to me, get 10 members or get $10,000, I'll choose 10 members. I will definitely convince them to give $10,000. But we did not have a recognition system for that. But that's going to change from 1st of July. And every new member is going to get a personal welcome letter. That will come from John Hugo. The proposer will get a personalized letter from me, the president of Rotary. Next year, it will be the other president. And just as we have a Arch Clump Society gallery for the people who have contributed the highest to Rotary Foundation, there is going to be a gallery, the name of which has yet not been finalized. We'll finalize it maybe in another 10-15 days. This gallery is going to be virtual. So I would say it's even better. You don't even have to go to Evanston to see the physical gallery. Sitting here, Geeta, Hugh or Pat or Diane or Claude, any of you will be able to see who are the highest sponsors of members around the world. And this you will qualify. Maybe you get 10 members and you get into the Hall of Honor sort of thing for Rotary. And mind you, this we will not just track from today, but we'll go backwards and try and see from when is it that we have data for sponsors, and that data is going to be there. So, Susan, you've seen the wall in the hall. Next time you will see the wall in your own home's hall.
Thank you, Debbie. And from the looks of it in the chat room, you're going to be giving a lot of those pins out, let me tell you. There's a great deal
I'll
of
be happy to.
Yes, and we will be too. One of the questions is on developing clubs that reach beyond their sort of geographical borders, if you will, and go to type of hybrid. So in doing that, how do you see making that, as you were talking about earlier, one cohesive club? And additionally, how do you see service projects being done in that atmosphere?
So each of these people on a virtual club does belong to some country, some city, some town. So let's say all the people that I see just now, all of us are member of Hybrid Club of Rotary International. That's the name given, okay? So Hugh comes up and says, I have $20,000 ready with me for a project in Debbie, who's from Africa. She's from Angola. So we all say, okay, I'll contribute 2,000. One says 5,000, 2,000, 3,000. Suddenly there is $50,000 there. Debbie says, okay, from our country, we can give $10,000. A $60,000 matched by now 60 by 80, 48,000, and it's $100,000 that we do in Angola. Is that the country I said? Or Bolivia, what did I say? Wherever. Debbie's country, we will do that project there. And Debbie is going to ensure that project happens, and each of us will see it on the Zoom call, and all of us will love that site.
Yes, and I know that you do speak about making sure that people use video while they're actually doing their service project and be able to stream that live, which is very exciting. Okay, yes. We're going to have another question from Hugh.
Debbie, Pat, you told me too. Okay.
Well, we have him here until 10 o'clock, and we're going to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Shekhar, as we move forward in our districts, is there something that you would want to say to our president-elects beyond the area of let's grow our membership? Because that is the real foothold of being able to have an impact in our communities. But is there something you would want to say, president-elects, I want you to...
Okay.
Your answer.
At the cost of repetition, the first thing I would want you to do is go and speak to every member in your club. And just as I ask you to raise a hand, ask them to raise a hand. Are they going to get one more member? Just one. And you know, all of these new members, next 6 months, go and ask them, will you make a contribution for either polio or for Rotary Foundation? Tell them that the polio contribution that they make is going to be matched 5 times. It used to be 6 times. It will now be 5 times by Rotary International or Rotary Foundation, which is amazing, absolutely. So getting members and doing service, I think these are the 2 most important things that we can do. About service, I've said, do anything that you wish. If you find there is need in your community, please do there. Otherwise, take up global grants. If you find global grants to be complicated, get in touch with any Rotarian anywhere in the world and work with them directly, even without a global grant. But we need to serve people to change lives. Choose your field. You want to work in education? Okay, speak to your governor. And governor, if you want to find where to work for education, write to me. You want to know where there is need in the world for water? If you don't know, write to me. And I promise you, I'll reply to that.
Thank you, Hugh. Geetha, 7620.
So I know how wonderful your literacy project or drive has been in India. We do believe in helping young people who are unable to finish school because of lack of money, even though they may be fully capable of completing school. That's a very big issue, even in this country. But the cost of putting these kids through school is far more here in the US than it is in India, for example. Do you have any solutions for that? Any thoughts about it?
So I'll tell you what we did right now in India. One of the part of the TEACH program, the E stands for e-learning. What we do is we create the entire audiovisual, the entire curriculum into audiovisual content. During the pandemic, the Prime Minister wanted that he would want to beam all of this on television, different channels for different classes, different grades, and also put that on a platform where anybody can access it. I would suggest, so right now what we are doing at Rotary India Literacy Mission, we are putting all of these 2,000 episodes, as I call them, for each chapter, 2,000 episodes on YouTube. Now anyone can go, so don't send them to school if they cannot afford it. They can go onto YouTube, build the audiovisual content as per the curriculum. And if you need any help there, write to me. I'll tell you, because the solar eclipse in America means the same thing as solar eclipse in India.
That's right.
So do math and science. So we already have it developed from grade 1 to grade 12. You take it, get it dubbed in your English, because we speak English maybe, which is a mix of Hindi and English, but you do it in your English and maybe change the characters, and I'll tell you how to do it. So what you are doing is, once the people start self-learning, you need to motivate those children to start self-learning. At a certain stage, they will be able to catch up to the standard where they left, or even beyond that. And then maybe I don't know, I'm sure you have a private exams facility where I don't need to go to a school and yet I can appear for an examination of grade 10 or 12 or whatever it is.
Yes.
That would be the answer probably for them, those who cannot afford to go to school.
Thank you.
Good.
That's
Thank
a great
you.
idea.
Thank you, Geetha. And Debbie from 7600, another question. Debbie, you're muted.
I'm pulling this question out of the Q&A from Scott Patano. Membership is a service organization going down across the board. Has Rotary talked to those other organizations to see what they have been doing to address this? And maybe there's an idea that will come out that we've not thought of.
So let's talk about this 1 year later, 17 months later. Other organizations will come to us and say, how did you do it? And we'll tell them as simple as that. No rocket science, each one bring one.
And it is a very simple formula. Thank you, Debbie. It's a very simple formula and it just takes commitment. One of the questions I'd like to ask you, we have had inquiries about your award program and how you're going to do your club citation programs. Do you have that, how you're going to ask the clubs to participate in order to be recognized?
So it's already there on Club Central.
Okay.
And that's what it's going to be. We won't keep changing that. And I believe you have a session on Club Central very soon today.
Yes,
I saw that.
as a matter of fact, Debbie is our person who's going to be.
So my answer
conducting
lies there actually.
Okay.
I will make sure that that's covered, yes.
Yes, very much so. Okay, we have probably time for one more question. So Hugh or Geetha, do you want to go ahead and do that? Who would like to take a shot?
Sheila, do we have any good questions that were posed by the president-elects in the Q&A that you might want to put out? That would be my suggestion.
I'm just looking real quickly here.
On the
I
Q&A,
think we
not the chat, but
covered-
the Q&A.
Yes, right. I think we covered most of the questions. Do we have another, Sheila?
So one just came in from the chat asking if Shekhar could talk more about service to change lives.
Yes.
Theme?
Your
So,
theme.
All I've done at Rotary is try to find what the issues in the community are. And once I find there is a need for this, I try to find what the solution would be. Is that solution possible by Rotary? I've never ever cared for what money will be required or what the resources will come from. It's because I heard Gandhi had said, find the goal and the means will follow. And they always have done. So we need to set a goal. When I see a need, I try to find a solution. I do a pilot and I find this is something which is workable. And then I think for an organization like Rotary, a pilot is not just good enough. We need to scale it up. So I did the pilot for heart surgeries at my own club, and we scaled it up to across the country. When disasters happened and Shelter Box, the UK disaster NGO, when Shelter Box was not allowed to be brought in India, I started something called the Shelter Kit. For the last 15 years, every disaster in India, there was a need. I saw the need. And because we could not import, I emulated. We improvised on what Shelter Box was sending us to the needs of what India needed, and then scaled it up. And today it's a national program. Any disaster in India, within 10 days' time, there will be hundreds and hundreds of shelter kits that will. I went to villages and I saw there are no toilets there. Over the last 7 years, my own club has set up 6,000 rural toilets for these people. So finding a need and trying to fulfill the need, that's all we are trying to do. You may not have needs in your area, but as I've kept saying, look at other countries which have so much of need. If your club alone cannot do, 5 of the clubs can come together. How about changing the water system in one of the African countries? It may take 20 clubs to come together, do 5 global grants each year for the next 5 years, and I tell you just that much, and you'll change the you'll change the water system. Just the other day, I met the education secretary of Nepal. I was there, and we've said it will just take them 2 global grants to introduce that e-learning system for their entire country that we've developed. We'll provide them what we have. Instead of the Indian pictures, they'll put the Nepalese pictures, and they will dub the entire thing into the Nepalese language. And it's going to be ready for them. You could do this. We are already in touch with some of the African countries. They are wanting to be doing it. You become a part of that. If any of you is interested, do write to any of your governors. Your governors can just write to me that, yes, we would want to do something in one of the countries in Africa, and I'll let you know which country we are doing. Togo, for example, one of the countries, Togo, they are already in the process of about to sign an MOU with us to start that e-learning process in their country. If the pilot succeeds, over a period of 3-4 years, you will change the education way children learn in that country altogether. And this is possible. Anything that I'm asking you to do, I've always either done it myself or I have a plan how to do it. Otherwise, I won't ask you to do it.
Exactly right. And it is a question of being focused and giving people something they can hold on to and understand how they can implement it. I wish you could hear the applause. As I said, people are really enthusiastic with your ideas. The idea of each one bring one is fabulous. It's simple, but if we could all do it, what a wonderful advance we'd make. We are drawing to a close, and I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of all of us for your time and your energy and your inspiration and your ideas. And as the daughter of a polio survivor, I also ask you, thank you for all of that you've done with polio, and the fight does need to continue. So with that, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for being here.
And I said, Fir milenge, till we meet again, okay? This time in person.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm
Absolutely.
waiting.
And hope,
yes.
right. And we'll see each other in Houston. Everybody will be in Houston. Thank you, everybody.
Houston.
Thank you.
Yes.
Before Houston.
Before
and then again in
I
Houston.
hope before Houston. That's
Before
right.
Houston.
See you. Bye,
Take
everybody.
care.
It's been a
Bye-bye.
pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was great.